And then now, what we want to do is because uh, but now you can generate anywhere you where you click, but yeah, it doesn't have like a specific indicator, right? So we'd like to have some cursor. We'd like to have some place indicator as a cursor. So that's what we're going to generate now. So mm, uh, first of all, please import files, and there is indicator files over here. I'm going to bring it to indicator to our, I'm going to import our indicator to our texture folder. Then indicator, we need to change this one to sprite because we're going to use as the texture. And where is it? Spice. Ah, okay. We need to tick this one. Alpha is transparency. Sprite. Is this need to be sprite? No, it's just default. And yeah, just use default. And alpha is transparency. We need to tick this one. And then that's it. Apply. And now you will see it is transparent. And if you don't like this shape, of course, you can create your own shape. And here in hierarchy, you need to create, uh, well, before that, let's create another material here. Let's create the material is uh, place indicator material. And the here, albedo, you can just, you can use this indicator material to albedo. And then where is it? Rendering mode. Change the shader. Okay, change the shader to unlit and transparent. So now we can use transparent materials. Yep, cool. And here we're going to create empty object and transform. I'm going to call this as a place indicator. And under the place indicator, I'm going to create a plane, set position. Okay, plane. We're going to just, we don't need the mesh collider, or we don't need any physics of this cursor. So we're going to just remove this mesh collider component. Then let's attach this material, place the indicator material to here. Yep. And as you can see, and there is a plain indicator place indicator of this one. But however, this is so big, so large. So we're going to reduce the size. And then I just found that for me, this size is okay, 0.05. But however, you can find your own size as well. Okay, now it's fine. And the we don't want to cast shadow of our cursor. Is it? It doesn't need to receive shadow. Doesn't need to cast shadow either. Yeah, and now you are ready to use this place indicator. And we need a very simple script. Place indicator here. So actually, place indicator itself is using the idea of the AL lake casting. So it's going to find the correct location and by using the AL lake cast. So, but we're not going to generate, spawn any object here. So we're just going to get the location and then we just want to see the location of the place indicator. So in this time, we need just private AL. Again, okay, to do it, we need to use these two namespace here, AL test manager. Well, I mean, here is also, you also can do sorry, you also can do like this, but just now I don't want to just handle this one. So that's why I just changed the private and again, private game manager, game object, make it to visual, another private list. So, I mean, like I said, many of things we're going to use this. So just we need to copy and paste some of them. And yeah, now we need to script some of lines in the under the start. So here, like since we are using the private, so since we make it to private, we need to call the late guest manager just by using the script, which is like this. So it's going to find object of type ALA gets manager. So it's automatically this script is going to find the ALA gets manager automatically, and visual is uh, get child. So this transform is get child. The child is the child of the place indicator since we attach this script to the place indicator. So child or place indicator is this plane. Doesn't matter about the name. It's going to find the first child of place indicator. So here, get the child as a game object, and we're going to see this child, but as a fault at the beginning. So at the beginning, you don't see this uh, place indicator at the beginning false. So and then we always want to have, but of course let's copy and paste this one. But we always want to have uh, we always want to have this the position in the center of the screen, for example. So rather than using this, we're going to use vector 2 a is because the reason why you're using the vector 2 is just on top of the screen. So new vector 2 is going to detect the size of the screen, and I'm going to find the center screen again. Yep. And yeah, then here, what this is what we need to we need. But Raycast major, Raycast, and yeah, everything else is same, but uh, this. So we want to change the location, right? So we need to change we're just going to directly change the location of this place indicator. So transform the position, or it also can we also can use set position and rotation, but this time I'm just going to use set position. Well, let's see, because we can try different things. Position, from the rotation equal to close rotation. And if so, remember that like so we just make it we just disable we just deactivate the visual this the visual game object. So it's going to check if this is active or not. So if is the visual is turned off, it's not if it is deactivate, it's going to make active. So that's it actually. This everything about the place indicator. So just save this one. And since we used everything as a private, so even though when we go to place indicator, you don't need to attach anything. You don't need to. And just save this thing. Oops. Save this in. And if you just uh, again build settings and build and run, the result is going to be like this. So this is always staying at the middle of my screen, but the is the locate. It's going to detect the planes and the location of the planes. So it's going to find the height and those kind of things. So if I try to get the position of the if I try to make something on top of here, it's going to exactly generate on the cursor. So how we do it is rather than just AR cast, we're going to use a bit different idea. So let's create another C# script, which is place on manager, and I'm also going to create empty object. Hmm, okay. And let's attach placement manager to here. And placement manager is we're going to use the location of the place indicator, right? So what we need to do is just first of all we need to get the um, location of the game object. I mean, the place indicator. So we're going to call the just private place indicator, which is just place indicator, and there just need some game object is object to place. And here, place indicator, we need to define the place indicator, which is find object of type place indicator. So just by doing that, it's going to find the place indicator and it's going to read the data of the place indicator. And then, yeah, here in the under the update, just this is a bit different. So, well, for now, uh, I told you that we can use a bit. We also can do the input here, input that get mouse button down as well. But yeah, like I told you, we can use a bit different idea, which is that we're going to use input touch count. So the number of the touch count. count is zero or more than zero. So which means if you touch the screen and in the same time, if so this means like if it touches and it's go to what's it, space. So I mean, uh, this is just like exactly same as input that get mouse button. But yeah, this is only using inside of the in AL idea. So here, what you need to do is just uh, new object, go to instantiate, and here what we're going to use is place to object place at the position of place indicator. We don't need to get the other position. We just need to get the position of place indicator and also as well as place indicators location, right? So let's save this one. If you and that's it. So it's going to instantiate the object to place object place game object at the position of place indicator, and the result of this is once you get the place indicator, you're going to get, well, I mean, I just brought the houses and I'm going to tell you how to import the some obj files as well. But yeah, you can see I instantiate the all different all houses at the location of place indicator. This. Um, well, I just wanted to show that how you're going to import your obj files. So, well, I mean, of course, there's you can import obj, fvx, and bit of different files. But today, I'm just going to tell you how to import your obj files. So, well, when you have the Rhino files or Maya and whatever, and you when you export to your obj files, it always import uh, with the some material files as well, right? So you need to just import drag and drop both of files. You shouldn't import only the object, either only the material files. Just select both of them, and the name should be same, of course. And that's it. And your small house, as you can see here, is your small house. Uh, is going to have with the some materials, and here, well, but you also can use this one directly to your prefab, but like make it everything is easier. Just unpack this prefab first and just change the name, and again bring this to prefab, and this is a bit clearer and easier to handle the data later. So, well, of course, you can just use this, but yeah, this is a bit easier to handle the data later. So that's why I'm doing this. And like I said, is this one is huge. So to just compare the size, I'm going, uh, I'm always just using, bring the cube and just make the size as small and under the small. So this is the data of the house. But yeah, even though you create this prefab, you shouldn't delete these two files because anyway, these two files are linked to these files, the default. So here it and it reads every data from these two files. So you shouldn't delete this. And the default, you can change the scale size. It's more and less, right? A little bit larger than Q, but yeah, more and less. So I use this prefab, and so I use this prefab, which is small one, and I just attach it to here, the place manager, and yeah, that's what I just saved and uh, deployed it. So by doing that, I could have the same result with that. And then I just covered this. Okay. When is it? Okay, let's do this. And then uh, now we'd like just rather than just place one object, we'd like to select different object, right? We'd like to instantiating a different object by just clicking the button, for example. So we're going to create some buttons. So how are we going to do it? Here in the hierarchy, in the U under the UI, there is a panel. Let's create the panel. And if you just go to the two-dimensional, this is two-dimensional view, you will see panels the size of my screen. So maybe I'd like to put my, and then I turned on the gizmo to see the size of canvas. So when I click the panel, this outline is my canvas, which is my screen. And this is the panel what I'm actually working on. So I just like to have the panel like underneath to, so we need to change the anchor point to center bottom now here. And we can, under the panel, we can add UI and button. So now you can see the buttons over here. And yeah, maybe we don't want this white background. So go to the panel. We can just turn off the image so we can have this transparent background. And the buttons, of course, we can change the color. Like I want to use the image as well, but maybe we'd like to have some different colors. Mm, maybe, yeah, just one. Just we're not going to use any shape, but if you'd like to use this kind of shape, you can see that shape is changing, right? So you can use the different shape, but yeah, just want to make it empty. And this is highlighting the color. So maybe I just found that there is better to make it a bit, give them a bit transparent. And first color is always most dark. And uh, here, where is it? Navigation, because uh, the selected color is we need that here when we use the keyboard, something like that. So here we don't need any automatic navigation. So just none is totally fine. So it's not going to go to the selected either disabled color. Well, but just in case, like I'm just, it's better to selected color is similar to highlighting the color, and disabled color is similar to normal color, like this. And first, you can change the text over here, but size. I'll just leave the well like this now. And if you want to add multiple buttons, you can just uh, copy and paste, duplicate another button and change the location and something like that. But however, maybe you'd like to put like if you have a lot of difference, is if you figure out it's kind of difficult to get the same I can say the distance. It's a bit difficult to organize it. So go to the panel, add component. There is a horizon layout group, and by doing that, it's going to automatically laying out the all the buttons. So here, rather than operate, left, center, yeah. So we can have these three buttons. Either we can turn off this one and we can give some spacings like this. And different buttons can have a different color. So just for now, I'm just going to change the uh, this. Maybe just like to have white text like, like this. And of course, for now, we don't have any function on the buttons, so we need to put some functions um, at each buttons. So here, let's go to the our the placement manager. Here is like let's say the public void. Select select first button like this, and just we can just change it to second button and third button, for example. And here, I mean, just to check, we can say just debug.log first, second, and third. So we can see if these are really working. To save it. And when you go to the button here, you will see the on click. So here is how you're going to add a function onto the button. So let's click, and here we because we wrote the script under the placement manager, so we need to drag and drop. We need to drag and drop our placement manager to here. Then if you go to here, rather than a function placement manager, you will see the yeah these select first button. And let's do this to everything, every button. Second button and third one to third button. Oh, I just found it. And if I run it, and when I click the first button, it says first, this. Yep, excuse me. Any question? If you have a mistake, it's fine. Yeah, I'm going to move on. There's the cut. Oh, good. Cool, cool. All right. So yeah, we can. Oops. So by using this idea, we can deploy the different prefabs. For example, to do that, like here, I'm going to a bit speed it up. Rather than just object to place, we can just say, okay, this first object, first object to place, second object to place, third object to place, and then here is, wait, just, and then rather than just directly instantiating the object, what we can do is we can just create another uh, another void, but yeah, this time it's not going to be the void. It's going to be the game object. So we can just select the each object to say that, we can just when we click buttons, it's going to select the prefabs. So um, here, like for example, we can say that the when you click the first button, it's going to select not first button, select the object, um, which is first one is first object to place, something like that. So we need to create this select object function. So uh, we can do the public public void select object. This is what we're going to create. And yet we use the first we call the first object to place inside of this blanket. So which means we need to call this. We need to use this object to the select inside of the select object. So here it is game object. This one is so we're going to just call it. Well, this is just object. To say selected object. So, so we just, when you click the first button, it's going to select the first object to place, and then we just putting inside of the this one select object, and inside of the select object, which is uh, uh, and here we're going to put this selected object to some the other game object, which is I'm just going to create private object, like we created a private object, private game object, like a new game object. But this time, going to call private game object to object to place. Okay. So this is going to be really, really placed. And so object to place. So object placed is equal to selected object, right? So by doing that, this object to place is going to be same as selected object, which is when we click the first button, it's going to be first object to place. And how are we going to define the first the object? I'm sorry, object to place is by using this function. We're going to make a game public game object, which is get get data, get object data to place. And inside of here, we're going to just return the object place. I mean, this is just like function of the script. So by doing that, we can read this data to the other void. So which is we're going to use this get object to place. And here inside of the update, touch inside the update, if this one is not selected, if it is empty, well, this is just to avoid error. Otherwise, like if it is empty, there is going to be error. So I just put this one, and I'm going to create this temporary game object, which is again, can I say again object to selected object to be placed. It's quite long, but I mean it's quite easier to figure out, right? And this is going to be get object to place. This is exactly same as, I mean, this is going to get the data from here. So new object is going to instantiate actually this one. So now is when we click the buttons, it's going to select the which object we're going to use, and then the which, uh, which uh, which which object we're going to use, and then this this return this data to inside of this syntax, and it's going to get the data from each buttons. So underneath of this line is about the button functions. It's going to just select which prefab we're going to select. And here is just handling the data. It's handling the data. So it gets the data from the buttons and it's going to return the data to use in anywhere else. So inside of the update, it gets the data of the object to place. And if it is if 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 they didn't select anything, let's avoid the error. So let's calculate it again. This means that. So and that's it. So in here, again, like because you can say that second object place. Second object place. Okay. See, I mean, like this is case sensitive. Okay. Third object place. And save this. There's error. Third object place. Third again, typo. All right. And you don't need to change any buttons because we already linked each function to the buttons. So you don't need to touch this. But if you go to the placement manager, you will see like these three empty game object. Uh, so here under the prefab and sphere. So you have to name it carefully because we need to use only small things, right? So here, just for now, I'm just going to put very quick anything, but just make sure that you select a small object. So for example, like this, we can do like this. So when I click this one, when I play this one, and I click the first one, it's going to select the first one, which is small house prefab. And I click the second one, it's going to select the image track cube. And third one is sphere. So I also can show you inside of here. Gizmo. And yeah, anyway, we are not using the AR in when I play inside of the laptop, the computer. So okay, it doesn't detect anything. So there is no actually place indicator. Yep. Okay. I mean, I cannot show my from my computer, but however, the result of that is I generated three buttons here. Well, first one is a bit hard to see, but there's a gray buttons and red and blue. So every time when I click the buttons, it's going to change the object and it's going to instantiate different object. And, wow, it's solidified. Actually, I also wanted to cover a bit different things, but I'm only going to okay. Like, well, I think I can cover this on and third day, but today maybe I'm going to explain just a couple of more things to wrap it up this one at least. So for now, maybe you figure out it's a bit weird. Even though when I clicking the just buttons, it's going to instantiate object. So how we going to avoid this one is actually, hmm, what is it? We need a bit of more scripting. This for now, or I can just make it quickly. So, well, I mean, for now, just to explain easier, I'm just going to import my view, I mean, my packages, which is covered here, not on UI and one object. All right. So when you go to the placement manager, well, I mean, of course, like I said, everything is under underneath. I mean, inside already inside of the script. So what I add is here. Actually, you go to the well, we just covered up till shop number 6. So what I added is this direct touch position. So this is how you avoid, and then I just changed this if condition a bit because I wanted to avoid clicking the UI, and to do that, this is kind of like you have to do like this, and so I just use the like this, and if it is over UI, it's going to touch position, and where is it? Yeah, it's going to use the is if it sorry, it is going to check if it is clicking over UI or not. So that one is actually, I wrote it inside of this one, vector2 extensions. So under the, like I said, here there is no mono behavior. So this script is not attaching to anywhere else, but I can call this function from the other script. So here under the vector2 extensions, there is a if there is a function that if it is checking, there is a function that if it is touching on UI or not, which is like a buttons and or canvas, those kind of things, and inside of the placement manager, it's going to check if it is clicking over UI or not. And if it is clicking the UI, just return, which means do nothing. And if it is not touching the UI, so which is like just the other screen, it's going to, yeah, and then inside is exactly the same, just it's going to instantiate the object, the location of the placement, place indicator. And the different thing from the our original, where is it, AR raycast, I just changed the location of the object if we want to instantiate only one object. But this time, since we are handling multiple object, so I just destroy the existing object, and then if there is a something, it's going to destroy the object, and then it always going to instantiate new object. That so by doing that, this one is so the first one, when I click the UI, it's not going to instantiate. Only when I click the screen, it's going to instantiate the object. But when I click the buttons, it's not doing anything. And then I added the destroy. So where is it? Sometimes it takes a bit of time to, I should have edited. Okay. So yeah, every time when I generate instantiate new object, the original object is going to be destroyed, and there's only new object is going to be instantiated. And this is what we covered. And the mm, it's already 15 minutes over. Maybe I will skip the rotate and scale. I think I'm just going to explain through the my import package, because anyway, it's very simple idea. So here, under the texture, I imported these icons, which is also saved in our Google Drive. This one, and the what I've done is I remember that. Do you remember that when we import the files, images, texture type is default, and but I changed this one to sprite to use inside of the UI. If you want to use your images inside of the UI, you have to change this one to sprite. I just changed it to sprite, and just in case, I just take the alpha is transparent, so you can see if it is transparent background, and is it, uh, this scene is uh, then yeah. So here, when we go to the 2D screen, here is the four buttons, and the rotate and scale is I just added a couple of lines under the inside of the placement management manager. Here, I mean, this is about the sharp function. Here is a rotate and scale. And what I've done is just change the angle and change the scale every time when we click the buttons over here. So, and then exactly same idea with these buttons. I just here just attach the placement manager and select the each buttons to each button. I mean each functions to each buttons, and then the menu page is I'm going to cover tomorrow anyway. So it's I mean day after tomorrow is fine. And right, I think I missed only one, but yeah, I can cover this up to day after tomorrow. But yeah, just very quickly, I mean, if you want to check the previous, just today and before this third day, you always can just check import packages, this and this. And actually, I just missed these two, place and buy and menu. And but menu and these two definitely I'll cover this on Thursday, 2 days, I mean, day after tomorrow. And so I'm just going to show you the result of that. So the place and buy is I just wanted to add one more function, which is like every time when you place something, it's going to generate a new one. But sometimes I want to keep that. I want to keep that, right? So that's why I added buy function. So if I click the buy, it's not going to be destroyed. It's going to be there, and just only when I click the place, it's going to get the new new one. And if I click the buy, it's going to be there. So yeah, you can have a look, but I'm going to explain it day after tomorrow for sure for Monsieur. So, and what you can do by using this one, as like, of course, you can have your own menu design as well for sure. And then like, if you don't like this, if you don't like these prefabs, you can just import it to your Unity and then simply attach all the prefabs. Well, in my package script, uh, I just named it house prefab, cube prefab, and sphere prefab, just because I just wrote it down just in like directly. But the maybe first, second, third is a bit easier to recognize, and then maybe you can use it in different ways as well. But yeah, it's totally fine.